be here.
This is
We're
great.
live in 3, 2, 1, go.
Greeting to you all, wherever you might be. Good morning and good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. I am Tomiko Dagan, the Senior Vice President of the Universal Peace Federation USA and National Coordinator for Interreligious Association for Peace and Development, in short, IAPD USA. IAPD is one of the associations of the Universal Peace Federation, which is an NGO that has a general consultative status in the Economic and Social Council of the United Nations. IAPD hosts the various programs such as this, which bring together leading experts to investigate the potential for improving relations in the Asia-Pacific region. Two-track diplomacy, it's called soft power, is a focus of IAPD Peace Forum. To maintain stability in the Asia-Pacific region is vital to engage in person and working together toward peace. We are looking forward to this webinar series as a great opportunity to gain more knowledge about the issues and challenges and ultimately develop the courage and commitment to make the world a better place. I am honored to introduce our today's program moderator, Dr. Michael Jenkins, the president of UPF International. Dr. Jenkins, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Vice President Duggan, for this great program, reviewing the situation in Korea and also considering the principles of peace building. It's called the Korean Peninsula's Challenges and Destination, the Principles of Peace Building. Our first speaker today will join us by video. He is really an outstanding individual. He spoke this presentation at the National Endowment for Democracy. He shared his story from defecting from the North Korean nation called the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, the DPRK. As a young child, Mr. Sung-Ju Lee was in the capital of North Korea. He lived in a kind of pampered life, but by the time he was a teenager, he was starving and fighting for survival in a street gang. And it was one of the many twists of fate on a journey that has led him to postgraduate studies at a British university. In the early 1990s, Mr. Lee was living comfortably with his parents in a 3-bedroom apartment in Pyongyang. He attended school and taekwondo classes, visited parks, and rode on the Ferris wheels. He assumed that, like his father, he would grow to become an officer in the North Korean army. But in 1994, this life came to an abrupt end with the death of North Korea's founder, Kim Il-sung. Although Sung-Ju did not know it at that time, his own father, who had been working as a bodyguard, had fallen out of favor with the new regime. The family was forced to flee the capital. Sung-Ju wanted to believe his father, but when he boarded a dirty, damaged train, he had doubts. "I saw beggars, kids my age, and I was shocked," he said. "I asked my father, are we in North Korea? Because when I was in Pyongyang, I was taught that North Korea was one of the richest countries in the world." The destination was the northwestern town of Gyeongsang, where they moved into a tiny, unheated house. At school, Sung-Ju found the other students malnourished and behind in their classes. So I'd like to ask you to welcome with me the video presentation by Mr. Sung-Ju Lee.
Well, I was born in Pyongyang, and when I lived there until when I was 10. My father made a mistake 1997, saying there is no hope in North Korea. So my family, and then that sentence was reported reported to the government by his colleague. So that's why my entire family was expelled to different city, which is called Gyeongsang, located in northern part of North Korea. Then we stayed there together about a year. Well, I was really shocked because when I was in Pyongyang, North Korea is the best country in the world, and then the strongest country in the world. But in the reality, it was totally different because I saw beggars on the street. and then the condition of the house was so bad. So I questioned my father, what's going on here? Are we still in North Korea? He said, yes, this is the reality of North Korea. But I was really too young to understand the reality. So and then there I watched the public execution, because one day I went to school, and then the school principal announced that entire school will go to public execution site to watch public execution. I was really shocked, because when I was in Pyongyang, I never heard that. And then we went there. There was 2 criminals, so-called in North Korean side. So they were shot. They were shot by police officers. And then my father decided to go to China for food in 1998. And then my father left home, and then he didn't come back. And then my mom also left the home for food, the same reason. Then since then I don't know where she is now. So I'm looking for her. That's why I'm working with Citizens Alliance for North Korean Human Rights to rescue North Korean defectors suffering in China. So, and then I spent 4 years on the street with my friends, and my main business was pickpocketing. Pickpocketing was my main business. So because that time I didn't have any choice. So during the day we went to markets to steal something from merchants. Also we helped the merchants. And then during the night we went to the train station to sleep over there. And then there was a prayer every night before go to sleep. We want to see more dead bodies next morning, because in the morning usually police officers come to a train station and then they kick the people who is sleeping, and then there are 2 dead bodies every morning, and then the police officers picked us, guys, you have to move these bodies to a certain place, and we had to move that bodies to a certain place. Then they give us like bread, corn bread. So that's why our prayer was like that. We want to see more dead bodies next morning. So I spent 4 years on the street, and I lost 2 brothers, 2 friends on the street in 1999. His name's Myung-chul. And 2001, I lost another one. His name was Yong-bum. And then my father, he got to South Korea. He managed to come to South Korea in 1999. And then he tried to bring me to South Korea, sending brokers. So my father sent he sent 7 brokers to North Korea. 7th broker found me in North Korea. And then I crossed border with them. The first broker bribed the soldier who was protecting border. So money talks, even in North Korea. And then I went to China by crossing border. The river, I swam. And then I went to Yanji, which is a Chinese city in China. And then I met another broker. He made a South Korean fake passport. So my father paid a lot of money on me to bring me to South Korea. So it was $25,000 US. That time it was 2002. So whenever I made a mistake in front of my father, he keeps saying, "The son, you are really expensive. Remember, don't screw it up. Study hard." So and then I went to airport in Daden, and then there was a woman who was checking passport. She was broker as well. I went to first gate, and then she looked at my passport, and then she gave me a sign, "You go." So she was part of broker group, and then I got to South Korea, and then I saw my father. Between that, it was a long story. I met my father, and then we cried. And then I tried to adjust to South Korea. I finished my I studied. I went to high school there, and then I also went to university there, and then I completed my bachelor in South Korea, bachelor degree in South Korea. Also, I went to I did an MA in United Kingdom on scholarship, UK government, and also I will start my PhD program from this September in United States on a Fulbright scholarship. So I will go to George Mason, study in conflict analysis and resolution from this September. So I'm really thankful to U.S. citizen, because I'm studying on your money. Thank you.
You're muted, Reverend Jenkins.
Can't hear you.
Thank you. Thank you. We were very surprised at the testimony of Mr. Lee. It's so shocking that someone could live in prosperity and wealth in Pyongyang because their father was an officer of the North Korean army, and suddenly they realized through the change of regime and their father's removal from that high position, suddenly he's seeing that the reality of most people in North Korea is very, very sad and very difficult. So I'd like to introduce our next speaker, who is well known throughout the world. Dr. Keon Kim is the chairman of the committee for the World Christian Leadership Conference and the chairman of WCLC. He is also the president of a Chun Shim Wan USA, which is a very special center for spiritual development, and he oversees much of the activity of all religious affiliates in the United States, including the Family Federation. He's dedicated his whole life to serving God. He moved from Korea to Chicago in 1977 to share Reverend Dr. Sung Myung Moon's teaching and Mother Moon's teachings on love, family, and marriage. There he founded and served as inspiration for the True Family Values Banquet, which has gone on for decades, which brings together over 1,000 religious leaders every year, together with business and political leaders in Chicago. In 2006, Dr. Kim received an award from President Barack Obama for outstanding community work in Chicago. This award propelled him onward to pursue the work to help others, and he received the Chicago Sega World Service Award from the Illinois Congressman Danny Davis, who is still congressman there in Chicago. During his years in America, Dr. Kim has gained extensive experience ministering to churches and college campuses. Between 2007 and 2013, he served as the national chairman of the American Clergy Leadership Conference, a coalition of faith leaders that work together beyond denomination to strengthen marriage and families. He also was the chairman for the Universal Peace Federation for a time, and I'm now the president of the Universal Peace Federation. So we're honored to share this time with him. I've worked with Dr. Kim for many years, and he is now leading a global movement called the World Christian Leadership Conference, which has tremendous influence in bringing religious people together from the Christian faith and embracing all religions. So, Dr. Kim, we're honored to receive your great message today. Thank you.
And thank you so much. I was very impressed. IAPD, even 1 month you skipped about this effort. How can we, all religious community leaders, come together and discuss about how can we bring God-centered nation, especially about my fatherland and North and South Korea reunification. So this is always ongoing issue and discussion, not only political figures, not only government officials, even our religious community, we've been thinking about and we share our effort, how can we bring two countries become one Korea, North and South Korea reunification. So I am really congratulate about the IAPD, your effort to bringing religious community for my fatherland, Korea, for reunification effort. This is still ongoing. How can we bring unified North and South Korea? Not only from political table, academical table, even our religious leaders table. How can we bring this unification? since they divided the 38 parallel, these two powerful nations, America and Russia. Right after 1945, we liberated from Japanese that operation controlling our country and neighboring country. However, these two great power nations, America and Russia, divided 38 parallel for the sake of military border line. And then, after liberation from Japanese, and these two Korean country, we divided, and many people, they stand up. They came out the street. We don't want to divide 38 parallel North and South Korea. But however, Russia controlled North Korea, and America, we are under a trustship from America, and still this one nation divided two, and conflict still going on and on until today. Our founder, Father Mother Moon's effort, we all remember 1990, Father and Mother and all of us, we went to Moscow together. And then when true father, true mother met Gorbachev and shared about this country's future, only centering on Godism, this country, big country can be blessed like America and other democracy countries. So true father, true mother, very clear, consistently mention about the Godism. This war, Korean War, broke out in 1950, not just armament conflict. This is none other than ideology conflict, communism between democracy. But I don't think we can resolve this communism issue only democratic ideas. This is the reason Father Mother Moon, when they met the following year, 1991, Chairman Kim Il-sung, they mentioned once again very strongly, this country, North Korea, you must listen to me, and I brought great hope for the sake of North Korean people and including you, none other than Godism. What is communism? Communism is anti-God. Communism is not supporting about the people's life of faith in God and in Jesus. So Father Moon, really anti-communism, because of communism is anti-God-centered life. So this is ongoing Father Mother Moon's effort. My family from North Korea, they also escape. We call refuge because of communism and communist. They really want to threaten our life, our family's life in North Korea. So people are Korean war broke, and many people, they escape from this communist black country. And Chairman Kim Il-sung, educated and disciplined and trained by Soviet Union. And Soviet put Mr. Chairman Kim Il-sung to governing North Korea and South Korea, and even General MacArthur really trying to over North Korea and another great chance reunification, South and North Korea. But however, the President Truman stopped his aggressive ideas. And he recalled General MacArthur back to state. And there are many chances reunification North and South Korea, but anything cannot be resolved for the lasting 100 years North and South Korea's reunification without we overcome this conflict of ideology. So this is a great opportunity, IAPD. We come every month or once this time, this hour, to discuss how can we resolve. Only we believe our founder, Father Mother Moon, praising and upholding Godism. And lately, also Mother Moon, how can we bring peaceful world when we all attend God and understanding fundamental essence of God's teaching and Jesus' teaching of Christianity. When we come together, understand well about God's ideas, we can win over communism and communist bloc nations. This is our founder, WCLC, Father Mother Moon, really sharing and promoting these ideas of Godism. This is none other than true love. And when we see through our Father's memoir, true love only can resolve our nation conflict between North and South Korea, can become reunification, our nation, one nation, and under God. Once again, thank you so much, IAPD. Thank you so much, Dr. Jenkins, Tomoko, and our dear leader, Archbishop Storing. God.
Thank you, Dr. Kim. And now Dr. Kim is here with us to give direct commentary. We decided to keep that video because it was so well done. Welcome, Dr. Kim.
Thank you, Reverend Dr. Mike Jenkins, and once again, our Archbishop Stallings and our dear sister, Tomiko Durgan's, your consistency. I must say your consistency really works for the sake of our community, for the sake of worldwide situation. Today, Korea, and as you see in every daily news, we are not just confronting communism and communists, and we are really confronting with the social issue, dividing one another. This is a big issue. And now South Korean people, not only they worry so much North Korea or communist. So this is a big issue actually. And I don't know, this is really a tactic of communism about the confusion of social struggling and divided. So that reminded me and Jesus' first preaching, and love your enemy. And this is one fundamental principle, no matter, not only we love our neighborhood, and let us come together and love our enemy. I think this is today's greatest lesson, fundamental principle, how we can work together, live together, and value together, centering on universal value, centering on heavenly parents. So once again, thank you so much, and Reverend Jenkins and UPF, IAPD, and looking for this coming big international rally in April in Seoul, my country, Korea. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, Dr. Kim. We're very honored to have you here Both Patriarch Stallings and I have worked so closely with Dr. Kim. He was our chairman. We worked on very many projects, and the central point of Mother Moon is always to bring unity of all religions, all cultures, all races. But we really hold at UPF the central, excuse me, central point of conflict is between North Korea and South Korea. That's the final line that still exists from the time the communist world really came to try to dominate so many areas of the world. After World War II, Korea remains divided, and that should not be. America had a very serious role in that division because actually it was a line that was chosen with the support of America after World War II to divide the two because right at the last moment, just days before the bombing of Nagasaki, Russia declared war on Japan. And then with that war, Japan was dominating all of Korea. So when Japan had to give up and leave Korea, the Russians claimed they should have half of the nation. It was tragic, so tragic. And then the Russian communists came in, and then there was a division made between North and South. And the Korean War broke out on June 25th, 1950, on Sunday morning. It was so tragic. Mother Moon was there. She had been in North Korea and she escaped. And we really have never lost that feeling that Mother Moon has so much to bring North and South together, but she doesn't want to bring North and South together by force. She believes it has to be done with a religious spirit. So in 2017, Dr. Kim helped organize a rally of 200,000 people there at the World Cup Stadium, just north of Seoul. And it was beautiful. Bishop Stallings was there, Bishop Mears, Bishop Jones, so many wonderful faith leaders. But what was so stunning, right before that happened in 2017, Kim Jong-un said he was going to nuke California. He had nuclear weapons, and he said he was going to nuke Los Angeles and California. Then President Trump came back and said, you will see fire and fury like the world has never seen. So it was that tension. And under that tension, hundreds and thousands of clergy gathered together in that World Cup stadium, but also 1,000 came from the United States under Dr. Kim's leadership. That was an amazing phenomenon. And people were asking our guests, why are you going to Korea when there's about to be a war breakout? Well, Mother Moon again gave that speech at that 2017 World Cup Stadium, and she didn't say one word that was negative about Kim Jong-un, the grandson of Kim Il-sung. She had escaped from North Korea, and she said, only we have to give love, we have to respect, we have to honor, and that opened the door. 40 days later, North Korea joined the Olympics. It was unthinkable. It was absolutely unthinkable.
It was.
But we're so honored to present one of the key leaders in this movement. Patriarch Stallings is so well known. He was born on March 17th, a few years ago. I won't name the year. He's the founder of Amani Temple, African American Catholic Congregation. He's been Roman Catholic from 1974 to 1989, and he made a new movement called the African American Catholic Congregation when he felt like God was calling him to go beyond the boundaries of just one Roman Catholic church. He still loves his upbringing as a Catholic. He went to the Catholic Church, was an outstanding scholar. He got his BA in philosophy at the St. Pius Seminary and St. Pius X Seminary in Kentucky. He also was sent by the bishop to the Pontifical North American College in Rome, and where he earned 3 degrees. And that is the college that's governed by the Holy Father and the Vatican. And he got 3 degrees, the Pontifical University of St. Thomas Aquinas between 70 and 75. He got a Bachelor of Sacred Theology. He got a master's degree in Pastoral Theology and a licentiate. How do you say that, Archbishop?
Licentiate.
Licentiate, thank you. Licentiate of Sacred Theology. He also joined Father and Mother Moon during the 50-state tour. He first was involved with the Million Family March, which Father and Mother Moon supported. And then he also came to travel with Father Moon on the 50-state tour. It was so exciting. And we're so honored to present him here. He's a blessed man of God, and he has two children. And we're looking forward to his incredible presentation, but also his leadership. He's going to Korea now to help bring North and South Korea together and also expand the blessing to all faiths. Welcome, Patriarch Stallings. We're so honored to have you.
Thank you so much, my beloved and esteemed brother, the Reverend Dr. Michael W. Jenkins, and to be able to share this platform with you and with my venerable, my beloved, my committed and dedicated man of God to the providence, Dr. Ki-hoon Kim, is an honor. I love Dr. Kim. I admire him. I love his tenacity. He's like a bear that grips you in the forest. He's not going to let you go until you make that commitment to the cause of peace, to justice, to Godism. And I love the whole concept of Godism. I never viewed it in that particular way until I heard two parents speak about Godism. It was like two parents talking to us about life, love, and lineage, and which of the three is most important. And of course, most of us as Christian believers, as pastors and catechists, bishops, priests, ministers, we would say love, because we focus so much on love. But Godism brings a more profound understanding of love, as Dr. Kim so eloquently pointed out in his presentation. Godism is true love. And when two parents talk to us about life, love, and lineage, we discovered that lineage is the most important of the three, because without lineage, there can be no love. Without love, there can be no life. And Godism is like that. Godism ranks at the very pinnacle or at the top of our efforts to bring about true and lasting peace, and particularly as we focus on the Korean Peninsula, which we affectionately call the land of the morning calm. There is something that reminds us that every attempt to bring about that unification cannot happen without our focus being on Godism, on that true love, focusing on God's teachings. And for us as who believe in Jesus, on Jesus's teachings, that if we want to seek out the ideal solution, it has to be based on this whole concept that two parents talked about over and over again, about the universal concept of family, that we are brothers and sisters, one universal family under God. And that if we look at the fundamental elements of Godism, it has to relate to everything that is of God. And how do we stand in divine alignment with not only God's will, God's creation, but with God's will, God's plan, God's purpose for all of humanity? Leaders come and go. We know that. Political leaders come and go. Religious leaders come and go. The leaders in economics, in culture come and go. But there's something that draws us beyond those partisan aspects of life that can have all of us center in on that which we know will not only work, but will have lasting effect. And it is Godism. We see in the North, in North Korea, the effects of communism. We see democracy, say, in North Korea, and the challenges that it faces. And what we realize is that there has to be something above and beyond even democracy that can bring together dissident forces and put them on the same level that they can work for the common good. Godism is about true love. Godism is about the common good. Godism is about righteousness. Godism is about selflessness. Godism is about coming to embrace the differences that are within us in a way that they can contribute to the diversity of our society without destroying it. When we look at this whole concept of Korea, the Korean Peninsula, and what I've come to know about it in almost a quarter of a century, thanks to the invitation of two parents to become a part of an incredible work of unification that goes beyond religion, I've come to realize that so many of the people with whom I have intersected and who have touched my life and left an indelible mark upon me have either grown up in North Korea, as did true parents, or who had a family, who had parents that grew up in North Korea, like Dr. Ki-hoon Kim. And feeling the angst that must be present in the lives of Koreans, brothers and sisters, one language, one culture, one heritage, and to know the pain that those families are still suffering to this very day because they cannot be reunited, they cannot see each other, they cannot cross that 38th parallel and be assured that they'll return. It pains me. I have an affinity for Koreans, particularly the Koreans of South Korea, because those are the ones with whom I have had the most association. But I've also had contact with those who have crossed over from North to South. When I listened to that young man, as we said, he was blessed in many ways to have had a father who was distinguished in North Korea and, who was able to get to South Korea, and the son eventually see his father. But that is not the state of existence for so many of our brothers and sisters, because they are our brothers and sisters. We are all inextricably linked together in an inescapable network of mutuality, bound together in a single garment, as King said, from the Birmingham jail back in 1963. The point is that what affects one directly affects all indirectly. We can try to dismiss what's going on in North and South Korea. We say, as Dr. Jenkins pointed out, a conflict that began in 1950. And ended, a few years later. And look, I mean, how many years are we away from that? Almost 75 years. The whole concept here is that we have our family, the Korean family, the land of the morning call, that one peninsula that's still divided. And it has to have an impact on us. And Dr. Jenkins alluded to it. Mother has talked about it over and over again. That what happens on the Korean Peninsula has rippling effects across the world. We should not be surprised at the conflict that's in the Middle East. We should not be surprised at the conflict that exists now between Russia and the Ukraine, in Africa, even in our own nation in some pockets. We should not be surprised, because we are still dealing with a division in a part of our world that has yet to be resolved. And I'm convinced that once there is that unification, that reunification of North and South Korea, we're going to see the rippling effect that's going to take place across the world, because we will have a model of conflict that has existed for 3/4 of a century, just in the context of after the Korean War. We're not even talking about, other things that took place in that land, and that conflict that conflict looms larger than life than anywhere else in the world. Let us not put the issue of the reunification of North and South Korea on the back burner. I've often said we've got to move it toward the front of the burner. We've got to somehow consciously make it the number one issue of conflict resolution around our world. We in America, who almost are innocuous to the conflict in North and South Korea, we tend to not make it an urgent matter. We know it's an urgent matter among us because we're so connected with some of the major players that are working towards peace in or on the Korean Peninsula. And standing is above all of that is Holy Mother Han, standing at the apex of trying to resolve this conflict. and that because she has the ear of the leadership in North Korea, and because she has the heart to relate artistically to the North Koreans, our best chance of I would call it a soft diplomacy, second path diplomacy, is through this providential work that we see happening now with the great work that True Mother is doing in Korea. So Dr.
Wow.
Kim is right on point. Dr. Kim is right on point with the whole concept of sharing with us how true parents see that solution coming about through Godism and how it will heal the land. If my people who are called by my name shall humble themselves and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven, forgive their sins, and heal the land. The healing is rooted in Godism. And we've got to learn. We need teachers like Dr. Jenkins and Dr. Kim and some of the other great leaders who have been a part of this providential work for half a century to teach the world about Godism. Dr. Kim, we need your voice. And we need your voice to bring out
Amen to
across
that.
this country because America doesn't know about Godism, Dr. Kim. You possess a brilliant knowledge of it. We need you to teach us more about it because we will come to realize that true parents have been right on point from the very beginning. It all comes down to our understanding of God, our relationship to God vertically, and our relationship to each other horizontally. And even though there's been this conflict and this separation, and even though our brothers and sisters in North Korea may not know about Godism, and the people and our brothers and sisters in South Korea need greater education in that regards, we know through trial and error that Godism is a solution. We know it. True parents have taught us that. And so what we need to do from this point on is to open up even a greater understanding, a greater knowledge. Dr. Kim, we need to start with the World Clergy Leadership Conference. We need to start with the American Clergy Leadership Conference. We need to start with all of those chairpersons around the world, such as I, who are part of the Interreligious Association for Peace and Development. We need to be educated in Godism. And true parents, we've heard true parents talk about it all this time. We've got to help assist, attend true parents, in particular true mother, at this particular time towards the reunification of North and South Korea, based and built upon the spiritual, divine principle of Godism. I am convinced that if we all give ourselves unflinchingly and totally and completely without reservation to joining True Mother, joining Dr. Kim and others who know what this powerful instrument of Godism is, we can use it and we can change this world and bring about peace, not just in the Middle East, but we can bring about peace in the land of the morning call. Kamsahamnida. Thank you, Dr. Kim. Thank you, Dr. Jenkins.
Thank you, Patriarch Stallings. I'd like to invite Dr. Kim and Bishop Stallings to be on the screen together. We have a little more time. Are there any questions from the audience for Dr. Kim or Archbishop Stallings? Dr. Sullivan, welcome. The president of the PWPA, Professors World Peace Academy worldwide. Thank you, Dr. Sullivan, for being here.
I'm very
Any comment or question or observation?
I'm so moved by this gathering on such a timely more timely than we realize. Time to focus on the situation on the Korean Peninsula and how Godism, not only as a theory, but as a practice,
yes,
is the essential point to this process of reconciliation. So I really honor the example of Dr. Kim leading his spiritual work all over the country and really around the world as well. and to Patriarch Stallings as well. Really, we've seen the dedication over the years, and it's building, and I believe it's coming to a real breakthrough point. So, if you want to say a word, the practice of Godism, what is it like? Help us understand that more, if you would.
Dr. Kim, what's the practice of Godism?
Yes. When I was in Chicago with Dr. Jenkins, our highest goal and value, consistency. This is best practicing with our social issue, any kind of issues, and with the brothers and sisters. Many times we separate about and understanding and action. But however, this consistently IAPD doing this webinar or awakening our audience, even our own family members. This is really central, practical issue. Everybody joining in. Be present. This is the most practical effort for the sake of making our community and our nation greater again and beautiful again, and as a God-centered nation, America and community. And so this consistency every week and people coming all around the nation, this is really a waking call, each one of us. So this is the best practicing, and as well as, yes, we are not just sitting on chair, and we go out and meet people and yes, follow up. But however, this is a very core value coming together and sharing and understanding together. I think this is the most beautiful core value we have and practicing as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kim.
Yes.
Also, Archbishop, what's your thought on practicing Godism and how that will bring North and South Korea together?
Well, Dr. Sullivan is right on the mark. We have to talk about not just theory, not just Godism in theory, but Godism in action. And as he was speaking, I said to myself, we have tried everything else, from democracy to communism, to autocracies, everything. When you look at it, we have employed every possible means to bring people together, but what has been blatantly missing is Godism. And God, if we understand Godism, it has to have its origins in God, the creative force, the prime mover in our universe, who obviously had an ideal in mind when we were blown into existence, when this world was created. And we ask ourselves, why are we here? Yeah, we first of all must ask ourselves, who are we? Who am I? I'm asking myself every day, who am I? I'm searching for my real identity and how I fit into this universe. So tiny, like a tiny speck in a vast universe. I ask myself, what on earth am I here for? Couldn't God just have forgotten about me, or even forgotten about me being formed in my mother's womb and the breath of life being blown into it? Where am I going now that I'm here, and I'm asking myself, what am I here for? Where am I going in this process? What am I trying to achieve before my physical days have ended? And so I have to focus in on God. I cannot, for me, maybe it's because I'm a pastor, a Christian, a minister, I don't know, but yes, I do know, but I'm just saying that, Dr. Sullivan, I'm saying to myself, there has to be a divine purpose for not only me, but for the other billions of people who are on the face of the earth. is how do we come to a knowledge? How do we come to an awareness of our interconnection with one another? That we're not islands unto ourselves. We're not separate and distinct and have no meaning as it relates to others. There has to be a reason why God brought us all together, why we are here in this world. And so I've got to ask myself, what is God's ideal? What does God require of me? How can my life impact another person's life? How can it leave an indelible mark on them? And it has to be able to see the presence of God in each other, not just in me, but in you and you and you. And how can we come together to bring about one universal family under God?
Thank you. Thank you, Patriarch Stallings. Thank you, Dr. Sullivan. We have one famous leader here, Sung Ho Lee. Mr. Sung Ho Lee, I don't know if you're able to turn on your screen and give a comment. He is the founder of the DMZ Forum for Peace in Nature. So, Mr. Lee, we'd love to hear from you, even if you can't turn on your camera, it's okay. But we're honored. We've had many programs with Dr. Sun Ho Lee. He formed the DMZ Forum that has had a tremendous impact in North Korea. Border's been closed now, so many of the things he had done in the past cannot be done now. But they planted, because of the poverty in North Korea, and the lack of coal and the lack of heat and everything. Every tree from every mountain was scoured to the ground. Every tree was cut down. And what happens when you cut down the trees, the soil has no consistency, no strength. So then flooding, massive flooding occurs. He planted millions and millions of trees with volunteers from all over the world. Dr. Sung Ho Lee, welcome. We're so happy to have you. Why
Thank
don't you give
you.
a
Thank you. I didn't really
comment on
expect
our
I'll
program?
be
Yes.
online because I just had the recording for a conference in PWPA International. Here,
Oh, good.
Dr. Salover was joining, and you know, I, take off my clothes. I'm sorry for my appearance, but it's so
You
important
look great.
that
You look great. We
I
know
like
you're a
to
scholar.
join this conference. I'm so moved by this passionate um, religious leaders because I always believe in the past 30 or 70 years, human wisdom cannot solve the Korean problem, especially DMZ problem. I was so moved by the religious leaders' prayers and passion in the near DMZ and years ago that you just presented, Dr. Stallings and Dr. Kim. I'm so happy to see you. And then we have a very tangible kind of project for North Korea, especially tree planting work we have been doing. And the tree planting work in Anju area is desperate because Anju area is the most deforested area in North Korea. And as well as we can do some tourism, even under UN sanctions, we can do tourism in Wonsan area and Washington ski resorts and near the DMZ. So I hope that we can move as timing is ripe, as I presented in my presentation in PWPA International. I hope that we can discuss more about something specific under Godism, like a headwing thought that we learned from Reverend Moon's work the last 30 years. Amazing work,
Great.
regardless of their, political, stance, like conservatives or liberals. We should work together in that regard. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lee.
So
Very
glad.
good to have you. We honor you and the great DMZ Forum. And
Thank
also,
you.
I see some people from the World Christian Leadership Conference. Dr. Adigan's here, also Bishop Keith Allen. If you would like to give any comment, you don't have to turn on your screen, but you can if you want. We just honor you and greet you. I saw Bishop Allen made some comments in the chat. Bishop Allen, God bless you.
God bless you, sir. God bless you. Bless you, Dr. K. Bishop Stallings, Sister Duggan. I have a question. I don't know whether it's appropriate or not, but I won't know unless I ask it. The two things that resonated with me was that the reunification of the Koreas should be at the apex of our thinking, and the concept of Godism to be the solution. All right, jump over into the political a little bit with the president wanting to get Greenland, wanting to get Canada to be the 51st state, wanted to get the Panama Canal back into the hands of the United States, and the Gulf of Mexico changed to the Gulf of America. I wonder if someone will get his attention to make the reunification of the Koreas at one of the forefront of his thinking.
Well, I can give you one answer, Bishop Allen. You are right on. You are asking a very relevant question. Interestingly, when Father and Mother Moon went to North Korea in 1991, 34 years ago, they embraced Kim Il-sung. Everybody was shocked because actually Kim Il-sung had sent assassins to South Korea, 25, to actually kill Reverend Moon. And CIA director Woolsey spoke in that World Cup stadium and told the story as a CIA director of how those assassins came from the north to the south, from Kim Il-sung. Even the CIA knew about it. That's why we've had a lot of trust from many leaders throughout the world. They know behind the scenes we're doing Godism. We're fighting communism with Godism. But the beautiful thing is because they embraced Kim Il-sung in the north, his heart opened, and he told his son Kim Jong-il to trust Reverend Moon. So, of all the people in the world outside of Korea, North Korea, you can trust Reverend Moon and Mrs. Moon. Because of that, there was endless collaboration. Even a car company was built in North Korea and given to them called Peace Motors that Father and Mother Moon built. And then that spirit passed on to Kim Jong-un, the current leader, the grandson of Kim Il-sung. And he sent flowers every year for the anniversary of Father Moon's passing, which was in 2012. Every year he sent flowers with a beautiful message. In 2022, it was so beautiful, big, huge bouquet or a ring of flowers, and also a message in Korean, a message honoring Father and Mother Moon for their great work of unification. We honor you. And he embraced them. And then one of the persons that was with me, Dr. Joseph Detrani, was sitting next to me in the stadium, and he said, that's the only message that came from Kim Jong-un officially to the Western world. The only message was honoring Father and Mother Moon. Bishop Stallings, Dr. Kim, any further comments on that?
Dr. Jenkins, I want to add.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Tell me go.
Yeah, that famous picture, you mentioned that when Father embraced Kim Il-sung when they met, and
Yes.
Father whispered on his Kim Il-sung's ear. And later on, Dr. Bohi Park, who was with them, asked the Father, what did you say to Kim Il-sung? And then Father said, my brother, I was looking for you, longing to see you. So that is a true brotherhood. If we can really see the person is my brother, this woman is my sister, then we can really bring up true brotherhood, true sisterhood, centering God as a parent. You know, when always said, when siblings fight, they cannot stop. But when parents comes, parents can stop them. So that is why I believe one of Dr. Salova mentioned that I believe that if we can really see true, you are my brother, you are my sister, then we cannot ignore my brother is starving to death. So that is, I believe, God is.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Kim and Archbishop Stallings, we thank you. We've run out of time. Any final comment, Dr. Kim, Bishop Stallings?
No, I just want to say thank you so much for your continuity, this webinar, and great effort to bring world peace and our community peace and our national peace and the mission of America as well. So thank you.
Thank you,
And
Dr. Kim.
yes.
Yes,
Thank
and
you so
added to
much.
that, Dr. Kim, as long as we keep doing these seminars, these forums, as long as we keep calling out the name reunification of North and South Korea, the effort will never die. So let us keep it
Wonderful.
alive.
I want to
Yes.
see Dr.
Thank you.
Kim. Dr. Kim, we want to see you, your hometown someday.
Oh, of course, yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Kim. Thank you so much. Yes, God bless you all. We'll be here next Tuesday. We're here every Tuesday for the next 40 years, and we will never miss. We have the Association of IMAP, the International Media Association for Peace. We have the International Association for Economic Development. That's our business thing. We do one every Tuesday. We keep rotating. Tomiko's always ready. She never
Always.
excuses. She's always
Yeah.
ready. Congratulations, Vice
Yes.
President Duggan, and thank you all. Thank you to the
Thank you.
UPF family.
Thank you.
The World
God bless
Christian
you. God
Leadership
bless
Thank you so
Conference,
much.
Christian
Yeah,
Leadership
thank
Conference.
you.
Thank you
Thank you,
so much.
ACLC.
Thank you.
so
Oh,
much.
it's
See you in
beautiful. Thank
Korea.
you. Thank
Yes.
See you
you.
soon.
Juliana Mushi,
See you
thank
Yeah.
soon,
you.
Dr.
Yeah,
Kim
see you in
again.
Korea.
Before we go to Korea, let us
Message
meet
of
Dr.
God is
Singh.
here.
Thank you. See you.
God is
All the way
And
from
Go to the
Tanzania.
DMZ
Thank
with
you.
Dr.
we invite
Lee.
you
Thank you.
once again. Yes, thank
Bye-bye,
you.
all the way from London, England. Bye.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank
London,
you,
England.
Dr.
Thank you.
Lee.
Thank you, Dr.
Yes,
Lee.
London. Okay,
Thank you
it's
all.
dark there.